Hello, and welcome to today's video about filter bubbles and how they impact politics. So, you might be asking yourself, what are filter bubbles and how have they come to exist? Eli Pariser coined the term filter bubbles and noticed that around the development of Web 2.0 in 2010, corporations began competing for users' attention online. After all, data is the new oil. And so competitors build self-learning algorithms that can predict users' interests and meet them better than anyone else, ultimately creating filter bubbles where users receive a tailored selection of information that fits their pre-existing attitudes, beliefs, and interests. This results in different people receiving different types and varieties of online content, meaning that everyone experiences a different online world through their own filter bubble. But the creation of these filter bubbles has also been impacted by our human nature. We generally dislike and stay away from information and people that do not conform to our pre-existing beliefs and interests. This is often reflected online by reporting or ignoring content or people we disagree with. And so, people are automatically inclined to search for agreeable information and to form close connections with others who share socio-demographic and behavioral characteristics. Thus, we automatically try to make our digital experience more enjoyable by closing ourselves off to opposing views, information, and people, ultimately making it more difficult to see the problem. Combining these three forces creates the triple filter bubble framework, which argues that filter bubbles are developed through individual, social, and technological dimensions. Although, it is important to clarify that filter bubbles do not detach individuals from their online and offline communities. In fact, filter bubbles can help individuals more easily find other people and communities as long as they match their pre-existing values and beliefs. The problem is that filter bubbles isolate individuals from those who oppose their pre-existing attitudes, thus making it more difficult for users to see beyond their own communities. However, the presence of filter bubbles is still heavily debated, as there still isn't any groundbreaking empirical evidence that supports its existence. In fact, empirical studies demonstrate that people with opposing views still encounter each other in non-political online spaces. For example, conservatives and liberals still see and enjoy the same cat videos. Therefore, some scholars argue that filter bubbles only exist for a small minority of people who fall on the extremes of the political spectrum, as most people use the internet for non-political issues. Yet, such scholars fail to recognize that users are not in conflict of opinion when they encounter each other in non-political online spaces. Such encounters do not allow users with opposing opinions to share their thoughts and vibrantly clash, thus allowing individuals to continue to stay within their own personal filter bubbles. In fact, without vibrant clashes of opinion, we are at risk of dismantling our democracies, as filter bubbles compromise the epistemic quality and diversity of information available to users by only displaying perspectives and ideas that conform to the individual user. This issue negatively affects all types of democracies, thus being a bipartisan issue. This is demonstrated by the fact that the Filter Bubble Transparency Act in the USA received bipartisan support in 2021. Now, let's review how filter bubbles can impact different types of democracies. Firstly, deliberative democracies rely on decision-making through collaboration and discussion among free and equal citizens. Therefore, since filter bubbles do not facilitate free conversation and collaboration of people from opposing viewpoints, they can harm such democracies. Secondly, since liberal democracies value freedom and autonomy, filter bubbles harm such democracies since they are invisible, and users are not given the option to opt out of the process. Thirdly, contestatory democracies view filter bubbles as damaging, as they interfere with people's realization of conditions to contest, making it more difficult for like-minded people outside of a user's filter bubble to share ideas. Filter bubbles also go against contestatory democracies' values, as they hinder political liberty and subject users to arbitrary and uncontrollable power. Lastly, agnostic democracies value conflicting opinions, and so filter bubbles are harmful to agonism as they remove channels through which opposing views can clash. Therefore, in every type of democracy, filter bubbles clearly hinder civic discourse. Ultimately, this means that filter bubbles can increase political polarization, as they increase users' selective exposure of political information. Since filter bubbles deliver more pro-attitudinal content, users will become more confident in their own views, while developing their ability to argue against rather than listen to opposing views, thus leading to an increasing lack of acknowledgement of legitimate opposing views. The connection between filter bubbles and increasing political polarization has been found in an experiment where participants were asked to browse a news site with built-in filter bubbles customized to each participant's pre-existing ideologies. After only 5 minutes of browsing, it was found that the customization technology increased political polarization, especially when participants clicked on pro-attitudinal articles and how long they spent reading such articles. This creates biased worldviews and contributes to the demise of the public sphere, as instead of facilitating more discussion among people, filter bubbles narrow perspectives and further isolate individuals. However, without empirically proving the existence of filter bubbles, further scholarly work is limited, especially due to several methodological issues related to such research. Firstly, there is no standardized definition of filter bubbles, which hinders the comparability of scholarly studies. Secondly, research methods are limited due to the ethical concerns of accessing users' private data. Thirdly, the black box of design obstructs researchers from gaining access to algorithms and the development process, since much of the work is kept secret. Lastly, engineers cannot even explain how the algorithms work, as they are complex and self-learning, meaning that they can change quickly. Therefore, further research is needed that breaks through such limitations. Thank you for watching this video, and remember these 3 takeaways. Number 1. Filter bubbles are the effects of algorithms and human nature that create personalized digital experiences which uphold users' pre-existing attitudes. Number 2. Filter bubbles can have detrimental impacts on society, democracy, and politics, as increasing personalization leads to selective exposure, which narrows perspectives and contributes to the demise of the public sphere. Number 3. Filter bubbles are difficult to examine and study due to the methodological limitations surrounding the topic. Thank you again, and have a great day.